Here it is. Climate facts. This is from the CO2 Coalition. And this is amazing. It says, explore our extensive library of facts and details and data to empower yourself with knowledge and educate friends and family. And join us in the love for CO2. CO2, you know, it's plant food, isn't it? It's the food that we rely on to breathe. It's the gas of life. And yet we've been told, have we not, that CO2, for some reason, is this dreadful gas that's supposed to be poisoning us. Dumb. Yeah, it's very dumb. So let's have a look. Let's have a look and see a bit more on this website. Here it is. They have lots of interesting facts, and I'll leave the link in the description so you can go and have a look at some of these rather amazing facts. So here we are. Look, fact number 1, 140 million year trend of dangerously decreasing CO2. And if we press this, we get to find out more. So it seems that 140 million year trend of depressing CO2, we can see that 2,500 years ago, or million years ago, whatever it is. No, that's, hang on a minute, atmospheric CO2. We used to, at one point, we had 2,500, that's it. Get my facts straight, Mr. Vobes. Thank you. Is at 2,000 parts per million, you know, and all of this. And 2,500 parts per million. We're right down here at the moment at 0.04. That's 400 parts per million, isn't it? And here is the survival threshold for vegetation, which even if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, here it is, you can see how dangerously low we are. And it says here, for the last 140 million years, CO2 levels fell precipitously, that's a difficult word to say, and steadily to within 30 parts per million of the 150 parts per million line of death, below which plants can't survive. And we're there. We actually do need it to go higher. So that's a curious fact. Let's go back and have another look. Here we have fact number 2. The warming effect of each molecule of CO2 declines as its concentration increases. Let's go and see what that fact tells us then. And again, we can see this declining effect. And there's a big description here. I won't read all of it. You can explore this for yourself. Climate scientists have determined, and both sides agree, that the warming effect of each molecule of CO2 decreases significantly as its concentration increases. This is one reason why there is no runaway greenhouse warming when the concentration of CO2 was approaching 20 times that of today. This inconvenient fact, important though it is kept very well hidden and is rarely mentioned, for it undermines the theory of future catastrophic climate change. Diminishing returns apply. Fascinating. How about that? Let's have a look at a few more headlines of these facts, just to give you a taster, and then, you know, go and have a look at it. And if you've got people who are telling you, oh yeah, climate change, it's all there, we're all going to be doomed. Greta, pay attention, thank you, because this is very important. You can show these to your friends and family and see what they say. What other ones have we got here? Of course, I mentioned this earlier. First and foremost, CO2 is plant food, absolutely. In the last 4 glacier advances, the CO2 level was dangerously low. CO2 emissions began accelerating in the mid-20th century. So what does that mean? CO2 emissions began accelerating. Let's go and have a quick look at that one. So here we go, 1920, 1940, they've accelerated. Global emissions from fossil fuel burning, current blah, blah, blah. But what does it say? Global man-made CO2 emissions began accelerating in the post-War II economic boom and continually increasing today. If CO2 is the primary factor giving a warming planet, we should see indications of an acceleration of warming beginning in that period and continuing today. So we should see, look, from here, we should have seen it ages ago, from the 1960s right up to here. We should have seen this huge steep, but we don't. We're only recently being told, oh, this is the era of what is it, global boiling. And yet, no matter how many fires they start, no matter how many houses they crush with their direct energy weapons, no matter how much they try and convince us by pretending that there's global warming and trying to ignite, if you don't mind the metaphor, the myth, we can see that this should have happened not today, not this year, not last year, but for years, decades this should have been. And yet we don't see the evidence of that. It's absolutely fascinating stuff. And there are more, just a couple more I'll go through. Here we go. Our current geological period has the lowest average CO2 levels in the last 600 million years. How about that? Current CO2 levels are near record lows. We are CO2 impoverished. We keep getting told that the levels are so high, and clearly they're not. More CO2 means more plant growth. Well, obviously, CO2 helps to feed more worldwide populations. Yep. And let's just do on this last one. Modern warming began more than 300 years ago. So it strikes me that so much is on this myth that man-made global, it's our fault. It's all our fault. It's not our fault. In fact, what we're doing is probably better. So let us burn our wood-burning stoves and all of that. Yes, we want clean air. I don't think anybody is against having clean air, clean water, clean environment, stop the pollution. Happy to explore that. But look at what people have been doing. I mean, the oil industry in terms of petrol and diesel have been cleaning up their act for ages. The absurdity is that the people are going on about how clean and stuff that we need to be on this suicide pact of net zero, and actually it's so detrimental to us. So we really do have to push back. We've got to get people, because that way the 15-minute cities wouldn't be a thing. All this corralling, all this taking our biometrics, all of this stopping us going flying, apparently there's something called Jet Zero now, so that they really and truly want to get rid of aeroplanes and holidays and people traveling around the world, because they say, oh no, it's all part of it. Of course, the dark forces, they will be happy to go about in the jets, going in their private jets around the world, but us, they don't want us to do that. So we're going to push back, say no, we don't need this. Thank you very much, very kind of you to offer, but I disagree with you. Actually, no thank you. We're not acquiescing. We rebut everything. We're not going to remain silent. We're just going to say no, we don't need this. Global warming, man-made global warming is not anything to worry about. Very kind of you, but we don't need it. Thank you very much.